So we've now heard plans from President Trump, from Vice President Biden, from Senator Sanders on how they would all address the coronavirus crisis. Look, Senator Sanders has been the sort of most aggressive in terms of what he's laid out there, although I didn't think he did that effective job at the debate, really distinguishing the size and breadth of his response on coronavirus versus Joe Biden. But we wanted to think about, what are some ideas that would actually be up to the scope of this challenge? Because obviously we're talking about massive public health challenge, need to manufacture respirators, to put in place enough hospital beds so that people can get treatment. But we're also talking about massive economic fallout, the likes of which I don't think that we've seen in our lifetime.
We haven't seen. And as I mentioned earlier in the show, Goldman Sachs currently projecting a 5% contraction of GDP in the second quarter. That is unheard of. Right? And part of the issue is, what I wanted to bring you is a guy named Joe Weisenthal who works at Bloomberg. He's really, really smart. And he has this concept that he's talking about called economic time and financial time. So in terms of economic time, basically all inputs into the U.S. economy are stopping. Like no consumer demand. Nobody's going out and buying anything. People aren't buying food. I mean, just think about all of your spending patterns in this time. Are you spending as you normally do? No. And a lot of people's jobs rely on that. And at the same time, financial time moves on. Financial time are all of the financial obligations that we all have
bills
in our daily lives.
They keep
our credit
piling
card
up.
payments, our bills, our rent, all of these other things. Rent still comes due, whether you not getting screwed or whether you are. And this is part of the issue. We have to solve the situation to catch up economic time with financial time. And there's two ways to do that, which is first, we got to kill this virus. We literally have to treat it as an invading threat, do everything possible in order to do that. Problem is, vaccine's not going to be here for a long time, which means social distancing and this economic fallout that we're going to have is going to continue. So now we have to think about how do we mitigate the interim period and make sure that we're prepared right afterwards. And that is where all the debate has to be.
That's exactly right. And I'm like a both and, approach. Tulsi Gabbard was on here last week talking about UBI payment. I think that's a great idea. I think we have to have moratorium on foreclosures, evictions. I think we need to have credit card payments, auto loan payments. There needs to be forbearance.
Well, interest. I mean, I think interest just needs to be killed at this point. On
Student loan payments
and many of these other things. I mean, but that's even if you kill interest, we're talking about thousands of dollars a month in some people's cases. And again, this conversation is not happening in Washington. Washington is obsessed with paid sick leave. No. We are setting, I truly believe, the conditions for one of the biggest populist uprisings of our time. I have no confidence that the Washington will get its act together and pass the major types of economic stimulus that we need to see in order to have an actual recovery. Because as we were talking about, even the UBI, what's that going to do? Who does all of our money go to in this type of situation? Our obligations. Our obligations are held by these credit card companies, by landlords, by other commanding basically, the financial masters of our economy. They're not going to us in our livelihood and our ability to spend wealth. We're talking about just keeping up. So in a way, I don't even really support just only doing something that is just going to pay off all these people.
It can't be only that. And at the same time, I mean, look, the paid sick leave thing that they passed to the House is a freaking joke. First of all, if you've lost your job, it's not going to help you much anyway, nor will a payroll tax cut, as we've covered here. Second of all, they leave this massive loophole for companies, Walmart, Amazon. Any big company doesn't have to do this, which is just the most insane giveaway. But we have to think bigger picture, too. Look, there is a massive need right now in the economy for frontline healthcare workers. So we have to think about how do we get people who have been laid off, how do we get them upskilled quickly so that they can respond on the front lines and help? We know the kind of work that's going to be needed in these communities. We know the kind of, triage medical care that's going to be necessary in nursing homes, in hospitals, in any sort of medical care facility. And so if we could get people to that place where they could help provide that care, help provide support in the community, it's like the beginnings of sort of a federal jobs guarantee. But we have to get on it right now.
Right. So what you're talking about, that's the first step. And the second step is we got to start making things in this country again so that this type of stuff doesn't happen. The way that medical supplies work in this country are on demand, meaning 2 days before,
right
before you're about to go out, you hit order on Amazon or whatever, and it shows up. That's all gone. We're in massive shortage. We don't make anything in this country anymore. We could use this as an opportunity to have real work for our people and to give ourselves security. That's what means, and that's what makes a great nation. And it's something, these are the big ideas that we all need to start talking about right now.
Yeah.
Because Washington will steamroll all of this, and we're just going to go back to exactly what we were, except even more hollowed out and weaker than we were before this crisis.
Somehow I don't have a lot of confidence. And I want to say, look, send us your thoughts on what's going on. And I know many of you are going to be going through tough times. We are thinking about all of you. It's going to be a lot. And I wish I had more comfort to offer, but we will continue covering it. And like I said, please send us your thoughts as they come to you. We're going to have more Rising for you after this.